I'd like to call to
Meeting to
order
August.
the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, November 19th. Now we can stand to say
Okay.
the pledge.
It was a different meeting than last week. They were like, what?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just saw the group, so they said, they don't even participate. Okay, fine.
Okay. I would like to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which would be the library board regular meeting minutes from last month and also the library expenditures for October 2024. Tim, so moves?
I'll second.
Joseph? Okay. We now have a motion and a second. I do have a couple questions, so I would like to ask. We had, in your expenditures, we had a $12,500 expense for Verdon construction, Verdon?
Verdun is the clock repair. So that's
Thank
the
you.
first deposit on that.
Okay, clock, okay. And then $750 for something called Martin Systems?
Martin Systems, I know this one.
That's the fire system,
The fire system.
that we had tested.
Okey-dokey.
Annual, we have to do that.
And one more question on Monarch. We seem to, do we pay them monthly on stuff? Because we had I know I asked about 2 months ago about Monarch and we got another 5,000. I'm just curious.
Is that the one where,
There were like three different payments to Monarch that
well,
totaled
there was
5,000.
one, I
Yeah.
remember where we were finally charged for the computers we ordered earlier in the year and it finally
Yeah.
came down to us. I know
Okay.
it's at least one of them was that, because even surprised me.
Okay,
We're trying to clean things up by the end of the year. And
That was it?
It's kind of slow billing.
okay, sounds good. Any other questions on the library board expenditures or the meeting minutes? If not, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, financial reports. Joseph.
Yeah. We had some interest. It did bump down. They decreased our rate a little bit. And then we had the Wills rent. I don't know if that was earmarked for specific events.
That is, the Wills Grant is the cooking program that we're doing next year.
Okay.
That was the one you talked about last month with the cart and everything? That there'll be like a cart with equipment and,
Yeah, I believe
Oh,
so.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what it said. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about that.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had a little bit of interest. There was
Very little.
There we go.
A little bit.
And then there were just a bunch of programs.
Okay.
And that was about it.
Okay. And everything else looks kind of stable. We're still in pretty good shape with our budget through the end of the year, looking at it and stuff. And you said you're going to be trying to do a lot of cleanup in the next 30 days and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
try.
good. Okay. Any questions for Joseph? No, I guess we will move on. Library Director's Report,
Well,
projects.
I recently sent out the staff reports too, but I guess the only thing that
Oh, we don't do
I had was our current
Anymore?
projects. Is that also? Yeah, okay, current projects.
Didn't ask us.
I know some people are concerned about the parking lot, and I think it's in rough shape, but only part of it's in rough shape, really. We got the quote for the entire thing, which includes the alley, and I don't wanna go into who's responsible for what right now until I talk to other people in the city. And then we'll go from there. I imagine that they'll ask us to take care of it all, but paving alone was at $74,200 for the asphalt. And I
That
don't
was
know.
excuse me, that was just for the asphalt, or was that for the whole
That was
project?
just the asphalt.
Okay, so the asphalt was 74,
Yeah.
okay.
There's curbing, and I don't know if any of that should be addressed before. Usually you do your I believe, usually do curbing before you do your asphalt. So I don't know if any of
And
that,
where is the curbing?
the curbing is all around the outside perimeter of the parking lots.
Not the city curb,
Right, not the city
not the
curb.
curb
not on-
sidewalk on the other
No,
side,
on
it's
the
the
grass
curbing around the
section
grass
there.
type
We have
thing.
the island and we've got
Yeah,
on both sides of the
okay.
car
So-
park, yeah.
Steve, are you looking to reconfigure the parking lot?
Well, I don't know that we would unless there was good reason to do so. If there would be a savings, we could eliminate some curbing maybe, or if there was other reason to do so. I'm not a parking lot expert.
And I'm just thinking, is there ways
So-
to grab space back, redirect traffic or whatever?
Yeah,
But then to your point about curbing is if you're gonna keep the same curbing, you can certainly just repair the portions that are really bad and do your asphalt inside of that, like we've done
Right.
that. And I've seen that done in other places, so I didn't know if that was something we would look to grab some green space back or redirect traffic or
yeah,
the flow of it, but other than you could keep, I drove past it the other day, you could keep some of that curbing. You're not starting from scratch, you would just
Right.
repair the parts that are
or in rough
Yeah.
shape. Or,
in rough shape and
Or
then do your
re-
asphalt work at right afterwards.
Yeah. So that's something that I wanted to just check with people and it's not an ideal parking lot situation, but I don't know if there's a better way to do it. So I wanna check.
The
on that.
majority of people who park there though are actually employees.
Yep, it's actually an employee lot. It's designated as an employee lot. We also have
Okay.
volunteers that park there, but we have little passes that we give the employees. Because if we don't have them, it's designated as an employee lot, our employees come typically on a market weekend and they can't find a place to park.
No, I have no problem with that. We need a designated spot for them. I'm trying to think about the fact that a portion between the parking lot, what you're referring to is like the alleyway where they come in or where the garbage is,
Yeah,
right? How do they, Brett, from a city standpoint, how does the city usually address issues like that or handle issues?
Well, if you've noticed some of the news lately, we've had some movement on alleyways. Mark Allen brought up a few meetings ago.
And we had one over
Yep.
here.
Yep, they just did that. The city, Public Works they got a new machine and they're doing more, and that's why when we talked about parking lot, to, get in touch with Doug, cause, we do have the ability to do more. But, again, we gotta get in there, cause their list of people wanting work is growing.
Well, and I know they feel that maybe this is too big of a job for them. That's what the
No,
city,
they just did that whole stretch on,
Butternut. Like a whole
between
street.
6th and 7th.
And butternut too,
Yeah,
Oh.
they just did all that, so
Interesting.
they're,
faster than any other.
they
Okay.
ramped up their knowledge. They were doing a lot of practice,
Okay.
in some parking lots for, the city garage and some other places, and these projects that they've chosen are building their skill level.
because I personally think this would be a good one for them to do, especially if
Probably.
we're paying. Do you think you could maybe meet with Steve and the city? Or-
well, Doug's been involved in the discussion, so he knows what we're looking at doing.
But he's not
He's not,
as open to it as, I
at this
feel
point, he
he
was
should.
not real comfortable doing it, so, he
But-
might feel more comfortable to do it in 2 years when it's in the CIP.
well, I don't know what the board feels, but do you think we should wait? I mean, I've had people stop and ask me questions about the
I did
parking
too,
lot.
yeah.
That it's in bad shape. And if we are willing to utilize some of our fund balance for that, I mean, yes, we'd move it out of the CPI, it would actually almost be out of the city's wheelhouse then if we would pay for it.
I'd be curious to know what Doug's taken, and I did not drive through the parking lot the last time, so I'm looking at Google Maps, and obviously that's not gonna tell me what I'm looking for. It can look rough, I worry about the safety, security, do we have the ability to patch it in a few spots? And could they even run, I'm assuming they have some sort of pull-by machine or whatever now that they're using, could they patch a portion of this
Yes.
till we plan for what the future could be in 2 years, and then they may be a lot more comfortable to do that.
I'm agreeable
And
to
I've seen
that.
that, we've done that in parking lots district where we patch a portion of it till it's time to
Go
redo
in.
the whole thing. I mean, just looking at what I can see off of Google Maps, there seems to be a difference in when the asphalt was laid. Could that extend the life of us, then give the city time to learn more, which ultimately in the end would save us all money and
I like
some
that
time.
idea.
Just a thought, but I would defer to what Doug and his team thinks about the
Yeah.
ability to patch that first
I
and
think that's a-
extend the life.
I think that's a good stepping stone
Yeah.
anyway.
There is example in the city already, you know, we just redid the employee parking lot down at City Hall, and that was done by contract, okay? Doug had nothing to do with that. But, I think Doug's role is more of a repair, you know, places where his guys can do repairs.
So
I mean,
he might be more open to doing
if-
something
if-
like this.
Right.
And
if
then-
we indicate that, yes, we're gonna maybe do something with fund balance or make this a project for the future, and we just need to get to that future, he may be more open to that, and so may,
Well, and actually, if we wait in the future, we roll it into the CPI, we do
Right.
get the
that.
money
yes.
from the county and
Matching
stuff
money
like
from the
that. That
county,
would
yeah.
be,
I like the patching.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
the
think it
reality
works.
is they could overlay a section of it and we could get another 5 to 10 years out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I just don't know without looking at it, and I would defer to their expertise in doing the overlay and all of that, but it may not need to be fully replaced in this case, it may be, but I think we're not against something immediate to have it done right now.
Yeah.
Do you think you could ask the city to have Doug or someone come out and take a look at it and give you,
Yep,
you know,
I'll talk
just
to
a,
Doug again and see if he can do a patch job on the upper parking lot, which is the worst
That's
part.
okay. And then we wouldn't do the curbing or anything, it would just be the patch
Yeah.
job.
I
So
do
that-
wanna ask him about the curbing and see what his thoughts about it, if any of that needs to be repaired before they do
Okay.
the work, or what that would be. That's more of his
Yeah,
wheelhouse
he can
than
be an
mine.
in-house, reference.
Great, yeah, and if we could get that before the snow flies, just so we are aware of it.
It's gonna fly on Thursday morning.
It's like,
It's gonna melt. It'll melt by Friday.
I gotta put my
This
mom's
is
car
government,
below
okay,
in
you know?
tomorrow.
Nothing moves fast.
Government.
Okay, so,
the EFS, we had numerous people called who were supposed to come and look at the EFS.
what is an EFS?
EFS is the texturized coating on what we would call the attics or the peaks that are over the flat roof. Usually like Dairy Queens have EFS around them, it's a texturized coating. And nobody's come by, so we've had numerous contractors scheduled to come and take a look at it, and they just never show up. And it's just that,
So that's where we're
consternation.
getting the leakage inside.
that's one of the
Or we're looking,
points of leak, or water infiltration is known to be the EFS that's in the worst condition, which would be on the north side or south facing EFS is deteriorating the most. The other ones are needing to be done as well, so I have no idea what that'll cost. We kicked this around to everybody, and I just can't find a contractor to look at it.
Steve, I'll give you a call this week on this one, because we do a little bit of EFS at the school district, and so
Okay.
compare who at least we've had in
Yeah,
and try to get in and see if
See
we
if
can
we
get you
can-
connected to somebody,
yeah.
so. Because I know that world where people are busier, they don't have time, or whatever the project is, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes I feel like certain contractors just don't wanna work for the city, so they say, yeah, I'll be there, and then they never show up, but, and then there's we never got around to it this year, we were gonna water test the tower to see if there's leaks, the higher ground was gonna do that with us, and they believe that it's probably just a caulk issue around the windows that might cause some of that leaking. But then again, we have to get up there and do some caulking, and we now know what a lift will cost. So that's the good news, I guess, or the lift cost right now. a week with a lift is, we have to pay for is for the clock repairs, 2,300. So that was not factored into the CIP. That was just added on, so we'll end up with that bill.
So the city doesn't have a lift, or they do, but we couldn't use it, or even the county, have we ever checked with them ever on stuff? I never thought about the county, but,
I'm assuming, because we get a lift sometimes to replace the light bulbs in my building, we have to rent one. That's gonna be a pretty tall one and pretty
Yeah.
substantial for them to
Yeah.
get up that high.
oh, okay.
And
And
it's an
that's-
outside contractor, so sometimes there's an insurance piece, there's
It's gotta be a man
ability
lift.
to run
it's
that
gotta
lift,
be,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You're
Never
better
mind.
off, in some cases, just renting directly
Yeah,
exactly what you
we talked
need.
about
Yeah.
renting, fixing.
I'd save a
replacing
buck if I
rooftop.
could, and I'd climb up there and do it myself, but I'm not
No.
gonna. Actually, I'm too old for that now. I won't, so it seems like the best way to do it.
Okay. The blinds,
The blinds, so the north side of the upstairs will get done, and then the east side, along where the computers are, should be done tomorrow. And then we'll have to look at some other areas. I know the children's area down here should be done, as the next, probably the next round, and then we'll have to look at
except
what's
with
left.
us moving the children's area, do we know what we're gonna be putting down there?
It doesn't matter what we put down there, we should have those
Put in,
light, shades put in that area. I-
Sunlight beats in there pretty good.
in the
Yeah.
morning, the east
Yeah.
side?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I noticed the other day, the other area that hopefully I can get it all in. I'll talk to the guy and see how we can arrange the prices, but going up the stairs and, at a certain time of the day is just dreadful, cause you can't look in front of you because the sun is shining.
Come-
inside.
Oh, sure, it comes right into those windows
Yeah.
on a direct angle.
So those are the two areas that are on my, high priority list right now. There's some area in the children's, I think the whole children's area should be done actually, and then those two windows for sure. What would be left is staff windows. There's some staff areas that were not done. We can potentially do if we have funds for that. And then the west side of the library wouldn't be done. The lower, it'll look nice if it's all done and all the same. The lower area doesn't get as much sunlight because we have the
Or
trees
down a little, yeah.
and everything that's up there. The area
But
of the
if
study
you
rooms.
can get sun, cause I've been in here when you're, walking around at that time, sometimes when
Yeah.
the sun can.
It doesn't glare in as much though as
Right.
the other areas. So those are the areas that we'd have to do yet.
Okay,
The slate replacements in the CIP for next year. So we have to choose if we wanna do carpet or if we wanna do LVP. The quote we got back was LVP. Our carpet pattern's still being produced. I think carpet's kinda nice because you don't have to worry about slippage on carpeting. So even if it was a walk-off carpeting that was a little bit coarser texture for part of that, might be a good idea. Or the carpeting that we currently have is fine. It
Is
works
there any
pretty well.
concern with carpeting versus cleaning it with salt and things in the winter?
Yep, there's gonna be wear on carpeting that's probably gonna show faster than the LVP.
You're gonna extract it to clean it. I
Yeah.
run into this, you have carpet squares so you can replace.
Yep.
The other thing is you could do walk-off carpeting before you hit that point, or even that over
Yeah.
winter, put something over that. But you're right, your carpet is gonna suck up a lot more. It depends upon how often they're willing to extract it and clean it.
could always make people take their shoes off.
That's a good idea.
My neighbor cleans one of the banks here in town. She
Yeah.
spends a lot of time mopping because they have the
Mhm.
vinyl floor in
Mhm.
the interior. So I guess it's a trade-off where somebody's gonna have to mop that if it's really white or
Yeah.
carpeting. So trust your decision on that.
Yeah,
Steve.
and the thing is too, in the winter weather, if it's, what is slippery? You sure don't want somebody
No, the
coming
vinyl
in
is
Yeah.
gonna be much more
The
slippery.
vinyl will
Yeah.
be slippery and it is a ramp to begin with.
Yeah.
a little bit downward.
So there's that concern. I would go to carpet.
Fine.
There's no doubt for me, cause I think it's just a better surface and we'll just have to pay for cleaning a little bit more often and then maybe we have to replace it at some point. So that means we can look at things that are different.
They
than
have some
that,
pretty sturdy industrial carpetings though, that they put in like the
Yeah.
hospitals and stuff like
Yeah.
that stand up to a lot of wear and tear,
Yeah,
so.
What
So-
about, I say, what about what we've got in the vestibule there? That is, that material that is supposed to be
that's a
absorbed in-
walk-off carpet, yep.
Walk-off carpet. I mean, doesn't that do a pretty good job? Because I'm not seeing coming down the ramp that bad during the middle of winter.
It's not bad. And
So,
you can see some wear in the ramp area, which you should probably just get cleaned once, but it's not bad right now, and I would say carpeting would be my choice, like I said, so,
But we'll take a look at what the two estimates come in and
yeah.
see.
Then
Okay. Security.
I think the last item was the security. We're planning to do a fob system for the doors. There'll be the employee entrance, both doors. To plan for the future, we also have the front door that would be potentially used by the Parks Department in the future in the front fob. And then the circulation room door and the business office door. Is that, did I screw it all up?
no, the doors 5, loading dock, not
Oh.
circle.
Are those 5 different fobs?
That's all one fob. It'd be all
So if we have one fob, and Parks and Rec has it, they would have access to the entire
It's-
building?
You have to code it.
Oh, you have a
Program.
code.
one. So each is programmed to their,
Okay.
yeah, so they wouldn't have access to the business office.
Or the,
So we wouldn't have, okay, so yeah, the loading dock, not the circulation,
Right.
so that's fine.
Steve, does this cost include door strikes, door replacement, anything like that?
It's
Or
everything
is
we
it
need.
purely, it's all in, it's not,
Yeah.
oh, we gotta buy the door strikes, cause now I need the electronic strike to open all that kind of stuff?
Right, they had that all in there, so it's a
Perfect.
total package for that.
That would make more sense also with the price.
what do we have now? Fobs or keys?
Keys.
I
So
like the
problem with
fobs. I
keys
finally
is-
got to try one and it's kinda nice.
They are nice, yeah.
People lose keys, not
Yeah.
that they have, but they do
Yeah.
sometimes. so.
Yeah.
Get into my mom's apartment.
They're nice.
And then if we can deactivate Parks and Rec, so if we-
Yeah.
Are volunteers getting the fobs too, or just the staff?
Well, we could, if we have volunteers that need access to certain areas, we could have a fob set to those areas that volunteer is assigned to.
Okay, 'cause I'm thinking like Friends of the Library goes downstairs for the book sale. Sometimes they go in the back room, get the books.
Mm-hmm.
Case by case basis.
So the
Yeah.
doors to the business office will still be open during the business office hours. It'll just be closed when they're not here. So we can either give the friends a fob for that, or they can ask a staff member to open up the room for them for the books, or we can come up with some other procedure for that.
We'll see how it works. When it
Yeah.
comes up, yeah, those are just things.
So-
HVAC.
And HVAC, oh, there is one more.
Yep.
So, Todd and I did find a budget, this is what our bureau gave us for replacement of, just about everything in the HVAC. So the Mammoth is on there, the train rooftop units are a much less expensive portion, and then the boilers. So we'll have to figure out how that'll play into the CIP budget. I did spread it out, I didn't spread it out based on these numbers. I didn't have these numbers in front of me when I did that, so we'll have to adjust that again in CIP later on, but that's way off.
2026 or something?
It's further out than that, I think.
Okay.
Got kicked down the road.
Okay. Any questions for Steve on the project updates? Anything else from the director's report? I guess.
I had a list, but I can't remember it.
Okay, I have, I printed out the stuff from the staff, and I wanted, it was very, a very good report
Yeah.
from the staff. I think they're really doing a super job when you read all of the activities that they're doing and the contests and things like that. And I do hear from people in the community, they're really enjoying a lot of the programs.
Yeah, we're seeing some growth in the Friday program for sure. Seems to keep growing. The Friends, I should say, in addition to what I talked about, the Friends are considering adding screens and a speaker system in the front for their
Oh, wow.
speakers up there. So that's
That would be really
about
nice.
a $20,000,
Yeah.
$18,000 project that we're looking at taking on.
Yeah, and the grant programs, I think that's really cool that we're getting it, into more grant programs, so I think that's a good thing. Anything else for Steve? If not, we will move on to the library board president's report. Really nothing, for me to report this month. I just want to say that, the library and the library board and the Friends lost a really good friend when Joanne Klein passed away this past month. Joanne was so instrumental. I know, Tim, you and her worked on a lot of the memo of understanding and stuff like that. So she will be missed. So I just wanted to acknowledge her.
She was a good one.
Okay, number 6. Agenda items for consideration, local author collection policy. Steve?
This is something that we frequently get people coming to us wanting us to buy their book. And
Sure.
sometimes their book is a well-written book. Others, not so much. So this was a policy that one of our staff members found, and she said, "What do you think about this?" And I said, "That seems great." So our policy just is, you can donate your book, we're gonna keep it on a shelf for a while, and if it gets use, it stays, and if it doesn't get used, then it goes away in time. To prevent us from filling our shelves with stuff that's just not great.
So you're dumping my book, Steve.
Not yet, it's time to go.
Next week.
Well,
Yep.
Someone check
yours is
it
one of the
out.
better ones so
Okay.
far that I've seen.
Yes.
There's
It's
a lot
hard.
of there's a lot of
It's
people that
hard.
think they can write.
Right. And there are a lot of people in Wisconsin who have written and published books, and some are very good. You
Yeah.
paid the check to Nathan Couch. I mean, he's done
Yeah.
books.
There, and I think for some Wisconsin writers, we'd still collect their materials that we would purchase. We're local authors, and we are looking at a writers' fair, I think, next year to encourage people to try writing. But not everybody who writes a book should have space on our library
Well,
shelf.
and that's why you've got the policy to keep in mind that you would look at the book and determine
Yeah.
what it is, so.
Steve, I like the concept of the policy. One question I have is, it says if you're a current resident of Wisconsin, the library would accept it.
Yeah.
What does the library do on, okay, so I write a fabulous book, which we know I'm not gonna write one in the near future here, and I move, I
To
don't know,
California?
a month later. I move wherever, a month later, but it's really,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's the history of West Bend, like, do we have something for that are non-Wisconsin residents who want to donate to our library who would have that tied back? I just don't want the policy to limit that donation couldn't be accepted if all of a sudden Brett writes this book and moves to, I don't know, Minnesota, and it's a great book and we wanna put it, Arizona, he's gonna
Well-
put Arizona. Like, that's the only thing and maybe it's not the local author, then it's just a book donation.
If it's a quality piece, if it's a quality book that we would want, we would seek that out anyway. So not necessarily a donation, we might purchase it at that point. In fact, I think I bought one of Jay's books. So pretty sure I did.
Yeah, you did.
So not everything is going to be. This is just a way for us to filter. We were at a point we were saying, okay, who wants to read this book to see if it's worthwhile in our collection, and that was okay for a little while. But then we have 5 books going around in the same month that we're all trying to read in addition to what we want to read. And it's just not feasible for us to spend that much time on self-published authors. So we got to tighten it up a little bit.
Okay, we have a policy We need a motion to accept the policy. May I,
I'll make a motion to accept the policy as written.
we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second to accept the local author collections policy as written. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. B, the approved close dates.
I sent this out after the last meeting, so I didn't send it out again. I thought I should, but then I didn't. So, there you go.
Way back.
Yeah, I know, I should have printed it out too, because, I think it was pretty much,
Like the regular holidays.
it's the regular holidays.
It's the regular stuff, yeah.
In
Yeah,
line with what the city's doing, yeah.
Yeah.
in line with what the city, except are we open, we're open the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
We are open the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Okay,
It's a big day for us. Usually we see it.
and
on-
we're open on Good Friday,
and we are
which
open
is
on Good
different
Friday,
than the
yeah.
city, so,
We do take a half day for training twice a year. That was on-
yeah. Okay,
And we're taking July 4 and July 5 off, which is a Friday, Saturday, based on that policy.
oh, that makes
states
sense.
if it falls on Friday or Monday, the Saturday is inclusive.
That makes
Okay, we don't have it all in front of us, we all have it in our email. Did you wanna vote on it, or do you wanna put it off till next month, till we can get copies?
We can vote
I
on
think
it.
we can go.
Okay,
I think we all agree.
so we have, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the closures of the library for 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Tim moved,
I'll
Tim,
do second.
Karen second. We have a motion and a second.
I'll get one.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we actually
We discussed
covered
it.
the
Yeah, we just-
library parking
Yes.
lot, so I don't think we'll need any motion on that
No,
at this time.
Because he's got to
I will
collect
talk to
information.
Doug and see if we can get some
Yeah.
patching.
Oh, that was what I was gonna say. The one thing though that we didn't have on here, we had some assigned tasks from last time. And I guess assigned
And I
tasks.
have a bunch.
You are in trouble.
I think I said, I
okay.
think I did them right after the board
The,
meeting.
the
so-
PTO, the transfer of the money for the PTO payment, you were gonna find out when that money was gonna be coming out of our budget.
It's gonna be the end of the year.
Okay, but is it gonna be coming out in the month of December so that it'll be cleaned up by the end of the
Yes.
year? Okay. And the other, director to submit, teacher card information to Miss Jessica. That's
Yep.
been complete?
That is complete, and the update on that is, I made hard copies and put them in every mailbox in Badger, and then I also emailed each principal and secretary in the district and had them send it out to their staff. And I got lots of questions back, and lots of people are super excited, so.
Good, great.
I asked her if she could let us know how many of the cards.
I'll
Like,
check on
I'm
that.
just curious as to how many actually
Yeah.
sign up. There were some good questions though, like, can I get this at other libraries? And I had to explain that it was just for ours. They could check materials out, but the fees, the waiving of the fees and stuff was just for here,
Mhm.
so.
So you are an expert now on that.
You're
Yeah.
a go-to person.
Okay,
Give Jesse more tasks.
okay. Our next regular meeting will be December 17th, 2024.
Are we still,
We're gonna see how it goes and see if
Oh,
we need to
okay.
have some
Oh,
stuff
we're
on
gonna-
it. We're gonna see how it goes.
Lots of items I'd like to add to the agenda.
So,
for Steve.
the,
Sorry, did I say that out loud?
so the assigned task review, do we have, I didn't
You
think
just got two. Steve's got to meet with Doug about patching the parking.
Yep.
oh, yeah.
And then he's going to also, for Jessica, get how many teacher cards, the number. So, that's it. Easy peasy.
Okay, with that, we are adjourned, but now we will be moving into closed session, so I'll read my little statute. Statute 19.85 1C. enter a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to state status section 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibilities. And this is the library director's evaluation. Jess, we have to say aye, everyone.
Oh, aye.
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 I
Aye.
Aye. Jay?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
We are entering into closed session.